Welcome back to another episode of Smooth Operator Trucking, where we create the dream 1 mile at a time. I'm not sure what I want to name this episode. Do I want to just name it Changing My Alternator, or do I want to name it Old Truck versus New Truck? Long-standing debate about whether it's better to have a new truck or an old truck, and you can find thousands of posts saying why it's better to have an old truck, and you can also find thousands of posts talking about why it's better to have a new truck. I think everybody's situation is a little different, a little unique. If you have an older truck, for example, like I do, Freightliner Columbia 2007, Detroit 60, 14 liter, no truck payment, no DPF and no DEF. It does have an EGR, so it is EGR, and the EGR is not deleted. I mean, you hear a lot of guys, they live by having an older truck. I think it's widely agreed on and understood that anything between the year 2008 and probably early part of 2016, you should probably stay away from, because that's when they were really trying to get the emission systems together. Like probably right 2016 is where they started getting it right, and so the guys aren't having as many issues with them as long as they're properly maintaining them. I'm gonna give you what my experience has been so far with having an older truck. And I'm not trying to knock anybody with an older truck, not trying to knock anybody with a newer truck. Like I said, everybody's situation is different. Either way, I think you need to have some things in place that will increase your chances of succeeding as an owner operator, whether you have a new truck or an old truck. And what I think that is being able to work on your own truck. Now, I can do some basic things on my truck, probably pretty much anything they can do at a Love's or a TA, minus the tires, and they're just, not having the equipment. Because when I was in the Army, I bust a lot of tires down, so I had the knowledge of how to do it. Anyways, a lot of that too is like not having the space to do it. I really don't have a space or a facility where I could really get into the meats and potatoes of the truck and do things, like you would like at a truck stop or something. You can't just, take apart the engine at a truck stop or something like that. Anything with going to the head and all that good stuff, you just can't do that in the middle of a truck stop. Maybe back in the day you could, but you definitely can't do that now. So whether you have an old truck or newer truck, I think you need to be able to know how to work on your truck as much as you can. I probably do 25% of the work on the truck myself, and I mean, it's still pretty expensive, so I definitely need to increase that and be able to do more things on the truck myself in order to save myself some money and aggravation. Even if you have a newer truck though, I know it's harder to work on newer trucks, but still, you need to have a knowledge of that truck and how to work on that truck. So if you get a new truck, you're looking at what? I mean, a brand new truck, you're looking at probably $4,000 a month truck payment, all right? What, $215,000, $225,000 truck. You got your $4,000 a month truck payment. I don't know what the maintenance is on a newer truck. It's under warranty, so maybe your monthly maintenance is less than $1,000 a month, if it's that. I don't know, for those first 3 or 4 years or however long it's under warranty. I do know that when a newer truck breaks down, the parts are probably 2 or sometimes 3 times more expensive than the parts on my truck. For example, a turbo, I think, turbo for my truck, I don't know, $3,000 or something like that, whereas another truck, a newer truck, it might be $6,000 or even more, and that's just all the parts all the way across the board. If it's a newer truck, the parts are going to be more expensive. Now, does that mean that the parts might last longer? Obviously, if it's a newer truck, so you don't have to worry about it until probably around that 500,000, 600,000 mile, mark, whatever. Or you can buy a newer used truck, let's say less than 10 years old, or maybe let's say less than, I don't know, 7 years old with between 300 and 500,000 miles on it. So maybe you have a lower truck payment. Maybe now you have a $3,000, maybe $2,500 a month truck payment. But if the truck doesn't have a warranty on it anymore, now you're looking at having, maybe higher maintenance, probably not as much still as I have on mine. Maybe you're looking at $1,500 a month for maintenance. I don't know. I really don't know, because I've never had a newer truck. If you're watching this video and you feel like, comment below, what has been in your experience if you have a new truck or older truck or whatever? Which one do you think is better? Like I said, because you can find hundreds and thousands of posts, saying it's better to get a newer truck. Yeah, you can find hundreds of thousands saying that it's better to get an older truck. With a newer truck, I mean, you can drive that thing down the road to 70, 75 miles an hour, and if it's geared right and everything, you can still get 7, 7.5, 8 miles per gallon. And my old Freightliner, you have to drive it just perfect. In my experience, I'm just going by my experience, you just have to drive it just perfect. 57, 62 miles an hour, with the wind at your back and everything else, in order to get 7, 7.5, 8 miles per gallon. I'm probably averaging now that the truck is running better, as I got the turbo fixed earlier this year, I'm probably averaging my last 90 days is probably like 6.5, you know. Now, I normally cruise around 68 miles an hour. I mean, I could see myself going as slow as 65, but I just can't see myself going slower than that. But although with the speed limiter stuff, anyways, I'm going off into a tangent. Bottom line is, I'm just going to tell you guys of my experience. Got this truck a couple years ago. Was given to me actually, so I didn't pay anything for it. It needed an overhaul on it. Boom, you get a free truck, needs an overhaul on it, no problem. So my first year in this truck, I spent $53,000 in maintenance. That sounds like a lot, but it's really not a lot considering, like I said, the truck needed an overhaul. It was given to me, you know, put a overhaul engine in it, did brakes, and went through the truck and replaced a lot of stuff to get it on the road. I think by the time I got on the road, I had about 30,000 into it. The guy did a really shitty job on the overhaul, so I ended up putting another 16,000 into the engine over the next, you know, few months or whatever. Actually, it was another 20,000 because it was 4,000 for a return line being reversed, and then there was like another 16,000 for some work that Freightliner did. It was just crazy. So if I could go back and do things differently, I probably would have got a crated engine with a warranty, with a 3-year warranty. Probably would have got a crated engine. That probably would have saved me a lot of headache up front and things that I had to deal with. Maybe that first year, instead of being a $53,000 in maintenance, it might only been 30 or 40, you know, whatever. Let's see here. So last year, so that was 2022, and I got on the road in July. So from July to the end of 2022, that was $6,000, or excuse me, that was $53,000, right? Now again, a lot of that was overhaul on the engine, excuse me, and the initial work that I put into the truck to get it roadworthy, you know. So that's reasonable, you know, $20,000, $30,000, you know, cool. All right. For the year 2024, I spent $34,000 on maintenance, all right? I was having a recurring power issue I couldn't quite figure out, was still having engine problems, was doing just a lot of different little things. Now, some of that is, you know, tires and just regular maintenance, but for the most part, that $34,000 was just stuff that probably, I mean, well, I don't even say shouldn't have happened, but probably was still directly related to the bad overhaul I got originally. Now there was some other things that are just like routine maintenance or whatever, you know, replacing parts. That's just, you know, the way it is on any truck, especially older truck. You know, to me, if you have an older truck, reasonable is $2,000 a month on maintenance, so $24,000 a year. If you can stay under $24,000 a year in maintenance on an older truck, to me, that's reasonable. Anything over that, you know, starts to get a little bit unreasonable. Last year it was about $34,000 that I spent on maintenance. All right, so now we're in the year 2024. All right, already I'm at $14,564 or something close to that. Like basically almost $15,000, and I'm already at right now. Right now it is March 11th. From January 1st to March 11th, I've already spent almost $15,000 in maintenance. Now I got my power issue fixed finally. You know, that was a turbo, which was crazy because I literally just replaced the turbo last March. And the whole year, you know, going through trying to figure out what was wrong with the truck, you know, replacing parts, and come to find out it was a turbo the whole time, that it was a bad turbo was put on there. So I'm literally on my 3rd turbo right now in less than a year. So the turbo that was on the truck, then I replaced the turbo, and apparently that was a bad turbo, and I just got the turbo replaced back in January, and that was $6,000. The reason why it was $6,000 is because I got it done at a Detroit shop, and they were actually pretty good, but they found some other things, and there was some, you know, they were troubleshooting and everything. So a lot of that was labor from troubleshooting. You know, now obviously if I had the mechanical knowledge to troubleshoot and realize that, hey, it's a turbo, I could change the turbo myself. I've never done it before, but I think I can do it. It might be a pain in the ass, but I'm pretty sure that I could do it. So yeah, they got me fixed up. Truck's running fine, and then February, radiator. So now I've got a brand new radiator. All right, radiator was leaking really bad. At first I thought that I could just, you know, wait until March to replace it, but nope, it wasn't having it. It put me on the side of the road 3 or 4 different times, and so I was like, all right. And even now, look, even now my coolant, I mean, just, you know, filled this up when the radiator was replaced, and already it's low. I don't know, that might be I don't know, who knows, might be a head gasket issue, which, whatever. I've had the head gasket replaced on this truck probably about 2 or 3 times since I've had it so far. So not planning on doing anything as far as pulling the head off anymore. I would freaking throw this truck in the ditch. Let me not say that, excuse me. Anyways, yeah, so got that work done, radiator, got that done last month. And then also there was an oil leak from the oil return line on the turbo, right? see here. So this video is actually longer than I was planning on making it, but so the oil return line was leaking. All this was wet and oil was dripping, and there's still some oil leaking back there from the rear, the rear head. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm not about to freaking stress over that. So I was on the road, so I ended up taking it to a Freightliner to get it fixed, because like I said again, not having a facility, I was under a load. I need to get it fixed right away, right? They fixed it, started heading towards the West Coast. It was leaking even worse than it was. So yeah, $53,000 the first year, $34,000 the second year, and we're not even 3 months until the third year, and I'm already at $15,000. So you do the math, that could be over $100,000 truck that I could have right now. Now, obviously I'd have a truck payment. Like I said, I didn't have a truck payment on this truck. When I first started with this truck, I had $50,000 in capital saved up, you know, for this. Went through that really fast, and I mean, there's a couple of times. One time I got back up to 10,000, and then that went away because of some things. And then I think since then, the most I've ever having to get up to about $7,000. So it's just really hard to maintain. I'm really good about putting money away. I know that right now I can say, all right, it costs me about 28 cents per mile for maintenance. Now, like I said, 3 cents a mile, that is for tires, and probably another 1 cent a mile that's for, like, you're talking about, you know, your PMs or whatever. 24 cents a mile, you know, for repairs and parts that I need to put away, just, you know, whatever, per mile. And I do that. I mean, at the very minimum, I'll put away $600 a week for maintenance and repairs, no matter whether I drove 1,000 miles or 3,000 miles. I put away $600 a week. Sometimes I don't even pay myself, so that way, you know, and automatically I have a transfer. It goes to my maintenance account automatically every week. And when I'm doing the math, I'm like, well, I don't have enough to pay myself this week, because I've got to make sure I've got enough money saved up for the next breakdown or for next repair or whatever. And on top of that, I try not to touch that money. If I can use cash flow in order to buy a repair or to buy a part or get something fixed or do a PM, I use that, and I don't touch the actual maintenance account. You know, that's what I try to do. Obviously, it doesn't always work out, especially, you know, right now rates are kind of low. But like last month was my best month. I did $20,000 gross, and I mean, even with that, I made profit. But I mean, I think I spent, you know, probably $5,000 in repairs. You know what I mean? So that really took away from that a lot. You know. So I mean, I think I averaged, after all miles and everything, my cost per mile last month was $1.66 per mile. No, 64 cents per mile. And my cost per mile, all my loaded miles is like around $2.10, $2.15 a mile. But after all miles, deadhead and actual miles, all in miles was $1.69 a mile. So it's like a what, 5 cent a mile profit, you know, after paying myself and putting maintenance into the truck and all that good stuff. Anyways, so yeah. So would it be better to buy a new truck? I mean, like I said, it's really hard to tell, because you hear a lot of people say, you buy a new truck, you have a truck payment. To me personally, if I went out and bought a new truck right now, or a new work truck, I would be looking for something, you know, probably less than 5 years old, with less than 500,000 miles on it, and for less than $70,000. You know, maybe, I mean, like, hopefully less than that, but no more than $70,000. All right, and you know, put a nice down payment on it. Probably put me at around a $2,000 a month truck payment. I would not want anything more than $2,000 a month truck payment. Now, you know, I like to preach, or I don't preach it, but a lot of my mentors preach not having a truck payment, and I can agree with that. But in this situation I'm in now, it's kind of like I have to sleep in the bed that I made. You know, I've invested so much into this truck that people are like, oh, why don't you just get a new truck? Why don't you just get a new truck? It's not that easy. Because first of all, you have to save up the money to get a new truck. You know, I mean, let's just say if I'm going to buy a $70,000 truck, I probably need at least $10,000 saved up to buy that truck. All right. And on top of that, I need at least another $10,000 saved up for maintenance, because that truck could break down too. Like I said, it's not going to be a brand new truck, and it could have a breakdown, and repairs on newer trucks cost even more. And then you have guys who have brand new trucks and have warranties, but guess what? A lot of times those warranties, those trucks stay in the shop for days and weeks at a time, sometimes months at a time. And those guys don't care that you have a truck payment, and you know, you'll just go out of business, even though you got a brand new truck, but you got this $4,000 plus a month truck payment, and something goes wrong on it, and it's covered under warranty, but you know, you haven't driven a truck in 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, whatever, because they're taking their sweet time getting the warranty approved and then doing the work from the warranty. You know, so it's really like a catch-22, man. Like, no matter where you go. I mean, that's kind of the way I look at it right now. I mean, if I sold this truck right now, I could probably get $10,000 to $15,000 for it. You know, but like saying, like, you know, to save up $10,000 right now is so hard to do, even though I pretty much try to put everything I make in savings for the next breakdown, or to save up to get a newer truck or whatever. I mean, sometimes I think I pay myself anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a week. Most weeks it's between $500 and $700. I have to have a really, really good week to pay myself $1,000, and that's through payroll. So actually, I get even less than that when it's all said and done. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it's really hard in trucking right now, and I was thinking that this year might get better, but I just don't know, man. The industry is just too oversaturated, and the capacity isn't leaving fast enough. And even if it does leave, it's not. We're never going to see rates like we did in 2020, 2021, 2022. And I didn't even get to be a part of that because at the time I was still in the Army, so I didn't get to be a part of that. I wish I would have been a part of that because, I mean, I would have really made a killing and probably would have had $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 saved up, you know, for times like this. But anyways, so yeah, so is it better to buy an old, new, or newer truck or whatever? I mean, I don't know. Like, you know, so if you do the math, it seems like I put a lot of money into this truck that I could have just put into a newer truck. But again, you know, it's not like I have that money all lump sum. It's money that I'm putting into the truck as I go along. And like I said, again, even if I were to buy a newer truck, I would need probably at least $20,000 saved up. $10,000 for the down payment, another $10,000 for a breakdown. Now, like I said, I could trade this truck or sell this truck for 10 to 15, so that gives me 10, you know, or 15 or whatever. But I need at least another 10 on top of that for repairs and breakdowns. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we'll see how the rest of the year goes. I mean, I probably have to switch things up, try to learn as much about the truck as I can. I feel like I have some pretty good knowledge of it, and I can fix a lot of things myself. But I'm no diagnostician or whatever. You know, the diagnostics is the part that, you know, I have a trouble with. Yeah, you know, anybody can repair parts, but can you diagnose what's wrong with the truck in the first place in order to know what needs to be replaced? But the thing about it, what I've ran into is you take your truck to a freight line or repair shop, and they're doing the same thing you're doing. They're just throwing parts at it, and they don't really know, you know? And so it's like, man, you know, you might just be better off doing it yourself. I know I just kind of went off on a rant. This video was really supposed to be about changing the alternator, but something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and so I guess it just kind of came out now. I mean, I'm not giving up. I'm still hanging in there, but I'm one breakdown away from, you know, from, I don't know, one breakdown away from just, I don't know. I mean, like I said, you know, you do your best you can to try to put as much money away as you can. You have a really good week. Put away, you know, as much as you like. Like I said, I put away at least $600 a week. But if I had a really good week and I can put away $1,000, here, that's been some weeks I put away $3,000. And it's like as soon as you put away that $3,000 or $4,000, you got $7,000 saved up. Something happens and it goes away just like that, you know. So it's like the truck knows, like, hey, oh, you got $7,000 saved up in maintenance account? Yeah, we need that. I'm gonna need that out, you know.
Always. Thank you guys for watching. It's not about how much you make, but how much you keep. Hard times don't last, hard truckers do. And last but not least, stay smooth, my friends.